So, hi everyone, today in this video we're gonna start developing another type of bees that has been already something that's common in that channel, that we have been doing a marathon facing all the bees that exist that make us do so bees type of decision makings that everyone obviously would like to not suffer with. But obviously to fight them we have to understand what are the bees that exist, when we're more susceptible to them, and obviously so try to fight them, and obviously explaining them, trying to show how they apply in the real life to seem and to be more illustrative. And in that video we're going to talk about the familiarity heuristic. Is a mental shortcut, cognitive piece as well, where we tend to prefer things that are familiar to us even if they may not be the best choice. So when we see something we recognize or have encountered before, we often feel more comfortable or trusting of it. Real life example to it. Let's say you are at a restaurant and you have a long list of options on the menu. In the menu, so you're unsure what to choose, but you notice a dish you have had at another restaurant before. What you're gonna do? You instantly feel more comfortable picking that dish, even though they may be other new dishes that could be just as good or even better. This is familiarity heuristic at work. Your cognition of the dish makes you feel safer and more confident in your choice, even though it may not be the best option. That's clear something that people, if they see for their life, it's something that people tend to do a lot. And why? Let's gonna explain why this exists. Let's gonna so put it in that way to you not feel that's just your brain try to trick you and make you feel bad, because in reality it is that we're made to have a tendency to always play the safe type of safe card. So anything that tends to be familiar to us, we tend to be so more prone and more amicable, as something that's more a friendship. And if you're gonna see it, it's something that happens to all the things that you do like in your life. What are the people that you do like? Probably the ones that you feel more familiarity with, the people that you more have contact with. Are people that you call as family, because in the reality is that everything that we already have a trade with, we have a tendency to think that it's like an option with less risk. And as I say, as any human, we have aversion to risk, because if you look for the best in someone that will live in a wildlife with a lot of animals, what will you think that someone will do? Mainly so people that don't have like a high type of information that now we have today by getting in colleges, getting in school. What will someone will choose? A mushroom that the people doesn't have hit, the people have not hit yet in the past, and so they don't know if it's something that's as poisonous or not, or a specific type of meat that people already know and have hit in the past, and they have not happened something bad for them. What will people do? Probably so they go for trying to hit the same. Even with the possibility of something other being good, we preserve more the life that we remain having it than the possibility of having a better experience. So it's basically a trade-off that we have a tendency to try to play safe than just trying to risk, even so we have a probability so to face something that is our perception, or it can increase so the experience by being something that has a better taste. That's something that we're made to do. We're someone that live in wildlife. In wildlife, people that survive, we have to take care about all the things, and we have to get the version to the loss of all things. Life in the wild is in fact is wild, and so people will not prefer also to face these risks, always so trying to be in the comfortable zone. That's something that people do never think. People like to be in comfortable zone and they feel good with. Obviously, depending the context of the draft, we always be present in the comfortable zone, because this not makes growth. And the reality is that our comfortable zone, if we always remain in them and if we don't expand them, imagine now going more for the out of the foods and things, going more for example education, if you're someone that always in your comfortable zone, so imagine that you already have a job and do not get some new type of learnings, knowledge, the reality is that the world is not static. And the reality so is that you possibly can face that in the future. Some other peoples will look at some formations, they will have like a continuous learning in their stage, and so they will develop and probably they will be better than you. And even if you remain doing your job but you remain static, doesn't having the laws, so imagine that you not like lose their capabilities. The reality is that the competitions that you so have a type of competition that you have, you've got paid by how much value you are and how much scarce you tend to be too. And so if you remain constant instead of you just remain with guarantee your job, the reality is that even remaining constant and not losing something doesn't mean that you don't gonna lose the thing that you have today, because as I say, world is static. But so what happens that we have to get in count that this familiarity heuristic, for some things is good, probably for things that are more critical for our life, having a shows to have aversion to the loss, and so feeling and always try to choose the safe type of things that tends to be the ones that have more familiarity with, can be good. But other ones, and now that our society has developed, and so probably we have kind of get we probably in the entrepreneurship world, in the world of the intellectuality, probably it's in that worlds we should have less aversion to the loss and should explore more. But these people that tend to have this aversion to loss, people that have like to play safe, in that world they tend to not be able so to survive and to have prosperity. That sometimes some of the people that you praise that are high entrepreneurships, they tend to be the ones that have a higher ability to deal with risk. And sometimes if it was in other type of heroes, probably will not be the ones that will survive, because if they have that type of ability to deal with risk in other type of hero, for example, when we still had to live in the wildlife, probably they will not survive because they will have to take too many risks, because they have like high sense of curiosity, more developed higher sense or a higher type of willingness, predisposition to explore the new, that will probably be too much. So we have to see that exists variability in the population, and we have to get in count where familiarity risk is good and where is not. So when you're more susceptible, when we have repeated type of exposure, the more we encounter something, the more we tend to trust it. For example, hearing the same advertisement or seeing the same product repeatedly can increase our likelihood of purchasing it. Brand recognition, it's something that as well exists a lot, applies as well in marketing. We often choose well-known brands over lesser-known ones, even when the lesser-known ones brands may offer better value or quality. But just the simple type of thing that if I know better a specific option than the other one makes me so wanting to go for that, because I prefer a trade-off of choosing what's safe, even already knowing and not expecting something new, than going for the uncertainty. And so past experience, someone that has a lot of past experiences have so as well a higher type of inability to learn and wanting to do new things. That's why sometimes some of the older people, they tends to be the ones that are most difficult to change their habits. So our pre-experience influence our future choices. If we had a positive experience with the product, we're likely to choose it again, even if other options might be available. But now, so how to combat the familiarity heuristic? Be open to new options. So basically, if you have to fight the new these bees, you have to get someone that has to get the ability to be less averse to the risk, but obviously shows whereas the field so that this familiarity risk should not be something that should happen. So things that feels that you can take risks because it things that pay off. Normally entrepreneurship, in intellectual world as well, but probably not doing it if I'm talking about health. Probably so will be a field that I should allow this to be something that rules the way that you decide the things. So challenge yourself to try new things, even if they seem familiar. You might discover better alternatives that you would have overlooked otherwise. Compare objectively when making decisions, focus in comparing products or options based in auction value or quality rather than sticking with what's familiar. That's like the best type of to answer that you can give to face this heuristic. Evaluate past experiences critically, something that's good as well. Just because you have a good experience with something before doesn't mean its whole is the best choice. And obviously, question repeated exposure is something that is as well something that's really good, because you face these heuristics sometimes by questioning yourself. And if you have seen the same ad reported multiple times, don't let that automatically influence your decision. Take a step back and ask if it's truly the best option for you. It's basically not attributing and creating artificial intelligence just because it's something that you're familiar with, but seeing what is the fundamental principles of what is the quality of the choice and not the familiarity that it has in you. So I expect this video has helped you. I expect you as well to help me by subscribing and putting the like in the video, and see you in the next one.